This is an NCBI Labs Talking Technology podcast clip.
Philip is joining us from BlindShell to tell us all about their really cool products. And Philip joins us now. Philip, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, I can, David. Hello, can you hear me?
We can indeed. We got you in the second time lucky, Philip.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me here.
So, Philip, do you want to tell us a little bit about what the BlindShell is? It's really a smartphone, but it's got buttons on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a great combination of both. Let's say we take the good from both ends. Our device is basically when you have the phone in your hands for the first time, it may remind you a Nokia style phone like 20 years ago. It's a standard tactile phone with a small display and buttons under it. Even the size is approximately the same as Nokia's phones used to be. However, in the inside, we have a modern smartphone, which has most of the features and apps and functions that you're used to having in your standard smartphone. So you can write emails, you can use WhatsApp, you can listen to the internet radios, you can listen to podcasts, you can Shazam your music, you can listen to YouTube. Most of the standards and most frequently used apps are there as well, but in a very, let's say, easy to use and accessible way. So everything is controlled by physical buttons. There is no touch screen. The screen is just for the visually impaired, or even we have many customers without even sight handicap, just seniors who find our products very intuitive and easy to use. But our real focus is on the blind and visually impaired users. So when you first take the phone in your hands, it's a very, very simple and intuitive operation. So in a couple of minutes, you should be able to work with the phone using just your fingers and your ears, because the phone always provides you voice feedback. So it will always tell you where you are in the menu. There is no chance that you get lost somewhere in the menu, or you click on something and you don't know how to get back. It's really very simple.
And
so that's what we do. Sorry for being so long.
That's totally fine. And is it then, I guess, is it a custom kind of setup that you've built for the BlindShell then? Obviously, it talks through all of its menus, but it seems like a custom interface, is it?
It is, indeed. It is. Well, there is an Android beneath all the phone, but a real user will never face the real Android. The Android is there just for our developers when we want to implement new apps, new features, or to reinstall the phone, to fix bugs and whatever. But a real user will only face something what we call a BlindShell operation system, BlindShell environment, which is a very simple environment formed of just a black background with white text, or of course you can switch to other color layout. We have 4 color layouts, but the default and most frequently used is just a very simple white text on black background. This is what you see. Even when you are using third-party applications such as YouTube or email clients, the menu, what you see on the display is still the same. It's all black background with the white text. Wherever you are in the menu, or if you are using a third-party application, this is the big benefit of the phone, because you can be using YouTube, for example, but you don't have to deal with advertisements, with logos, with you cannot just get lost, because you always have the very simple and intuitive menu.
And then for those kind of third-party applications, I guess, how are you getting, support across the board from these different companies? Are these apps being specifically developed by BlindShell then for, say, the likes of YouTube, or is it using the standard YouTube app? Like, if I get a BlindShell, can I use any third-party apps, or do I need to get an app developed by BlindShell?
Unfortunately, you cannot use all the apps in the world. We focus on quantity, not on quality. On quality, not on quantity. So we don't allow end customers to download and install any third-party application because not all of them are accessible. So not all of them would be easy to use in our phone, and also not all of them would be compatible with our phone. So we focus on implementation only those applications that are frequently used, that are required by the community. We are very active in the blind and visually impaired community, and we keep collecting feedbacks on what people are using and what people are really asking us to implement. And we want to be sure that all the apps that are implemented in the Classic 2 are really 100% compatible with the phone and 100% accessible. So we don't deal with customers getting lost in the menu and not with the apps are not working well, etc. So there is one disadvantage. Not all apps are running on the BlindShell Classic 2, but on the other hand, all of those that are available are 100% accessible and very easy to use. So that's our strategy.
Interesting. And I guess, do you want to give us then an idea of, some of the apps that have recently come to the BlindShell Classic 2? Because you're adding new apps all the time, really, aren't you?
Yes, we are releasing major updates approximately 3 or 4 times a year, bringing in new applications. I think just from our recent call, which was like a few months ago, I think we've implemented Amazon Alexa. We've implemented Zoom phone conferences, and there are plenty of others. I cannot be too specific because there are many apps that are in the stage of testing, and some of them may not be included in the final choice because they won't be 100% working well. So I don't want to mention them. But we keep adding new, and we plan to release 2 more updates still within this year, by the end of this year.
That's fantastic. And I guess the really cool thing as well about BlindShell is you're starting to slowly but surely build up a kind of an ecosystem around these devices. Like we've seen with, if we look at Apple or the iPhone or whatever, that they have things like AirTags. But you've started to bring in your own kind of equivalent products and accessories to go alongside BlindShell. Do you want to tell us about some of those?
Yeah, thank you for this question. Because BlindShell Classic 2 is not just a mobile phone, it's also an assistive technology product, assistive device. So we have a couple of, we call it Vision 8 apps or features that are included in the phone. One of them that you mentioned is the NFC object tagging. We use NFC, which stands for the near field communication. This is the technology that you use for your debit cards when you pay in the store. You no longer have to insert the card really into the machine. You just point it at the machine, and the near field communication technology makes it all for you. So we use this technology in stickers. We have sticking labels that you can mark object with. And you can record or type a description on each of these. So you can mark your bottles with different types of wine, or you can distinguish between a ketchup or a mayonnaise, etc. There's plenty of use case for these, and they are pretty cool and easy to use. We also have something that you mentioned with the Apple AirTag. We have a Bluetooth key locator. We call it BlindShell Beep or BlindShell Beeper, which is a Bluetooth object, square object with approximately 4 on 4 centimeters dimensions and 5 millimeters high, which you can stick to your keys, for example, or to your wallet or any object that you keep losing all the time. And you pair it by Bluetooth with the phone, and if you cannot find your keys, you just open the app in the phone and beep it, so you can localize the product, which may be laying just beside you. Or I think Dorian mentioned Be My Eyes. It's also implemented in the phone. So there is an app, Be My Eyes. We have Google Lookout, also another one which is very popular. I think I don't have to talk further about Google Lookout.
Absolutely
I think
not.
the community knows it very, very well. And there is also, for example, color indicator or a light sensor. So plenty of assistive technology included in mobile phone as well.
That's brilliant. And it's really cool to see, that there is a phone, yes, visually impaired people, a lot of people who listen to this podcast, they might be iPhone or Android users or whatever, and they may be fairly tech savvy, and, they might have initially, I guess, almost written off something like a button phone at this point. But it's really cool to see that the button phone can still be quite smart in many ways, and there's a great opportunity to just make it a more accessible experience across the board, really, isn't there?
Yeah. We are not competing against iPhones or any standard smartphones, not at all. We know that if someone is capable of using a standard touchscreen, of course, we know and we openly admitted that standard smartphones offer more apps, more features, more everything. But it's for some it may be very tricky to navigate, to work with the phone. So that's why we bring a solution to those who want to keep up with the latest technology. So they want to be in touch with their friends and send pictures and voice messages through WhatsApp. They want to write emails. They want to listen to the radio, etc. But they cannot work with the touchscreen. So they can do it with physical buttons here at BlindShell Classic 2. So this is our target group. This is the customers who we developed the product for. And one more thing I want to mention, that the phone, I'm talking now about the BlindShell Classic 2. This is a product that was developed and designed by the blind users. We are in a very close relationship with the Czech Blind Organization here in Prague. And these people were the ones who told us exactly what they want. They told us, hey, guys, we need a phone of this size. We need to have this shape of buttons. We need to have this distance between the bottom lines. And we need the operational buttons to be this shape and that big and that far away from each other. And we need to have these functions and these features. So we just did it, but they told the real users, they told us what to do and how to do it. We just did it and brought it to life.
That's awesome. And you mentioned there the BlindShell Classic 2, but do you have other phones in the lineup? And what other BlindShell phones are there for people who maybe don't need a fully fledged BlindShell Classic 2, but do you have other products in the lineup, for example?
Yeah, we have older models as well. Well, the predecessor of BlindShell Classic 2, the original BlindShell Classic, which is a phone which has very similar features as BlindShell Classic 2, but the hardware, the biggest difference between the first and second generation of the BlindShell Classic is the hardware. because the hardware of the first generation wasn't designed by the blind users. That was a third-party hardware that was already existing. So we had the hardware already done, and we started implementing the software part. So the software part runs well, but we had some complaints for the hardware because it's not specifically designed for to fit the needs of the blind and visually impaired. But obviously, it's a third-party product, so there is no way for us to fix these or to adjust the hardware anyway. So that's the biggest difference between the first and second generation of the Classic. The Classic 2 is 100% our product from our company, which is developed for the specific needs of our target group.
Is it hard to develop a phone? I can't imagine it was a very easy journey. Was it a very tough journey, and how long did something like that take, I guess?
Yeah, it was very, very long and very tough journey. It was like a ping pong with the manufacturer having like maybe 20 or even more demo units which we got from the manufacturer and had provided a feedback. This button is not functioning well. This is too hard to press. This is too sharp. This edge is too sharp. This is too narrow. So it was a very long process. Overall, it took more than 3 years to bring from the first scratch to the launch of the product, which happened in September 21. So in September, it's going to be 2 years when we have the product in sale. And so far, the sales is really great. It's exceeding our expectations. We have already sold over 30,000 units worldwide, which is having in mind the size of the community and the number of people. It's much more than we expected. Really,
that's a huge number, isn't it? That's an absolutely huge number. So really, as you say, when you consider the size of the community, a really massive number. Well, Philip, thank you so much for telling us about the BlindShell and the products that you guys develop and sell and so on. How can people find out more about BlindShell?
I think the best way is to contact NCBI, of course, one of your coaches, trainers. I hope also Dorian will soon have his first touch if he doesn't have yet with our products. Of course, you can purchase our products on the NCBI e-shop as well. So I believe this is the best address to go in Ireland.
Absolutely. Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining us on Talking Technology, and who knows, we might have you back again in the future.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much for invitation. It's a pleasure for me. It's a great opportunity to talk about our products. And hopefully see you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Philip. And as Philip said there, if you do want to get more information about the BlindShell, you can indeed get that on the NCBI eShop through ncbi.ie, or you can give us a call, 1-800-911-110, or labs@ncbi.ie if you do want to email. And of course, if you do want to maybe get a look at one of the BlindShells, we do have the Classic 2s in many of the offices across the country now as well. So if you want to maybe try out and see what it feels like, push a few buttons and see how it all works, you're more than welcome to do so. Just send us an email and we'll try get that sorted for you.
Thanks for listening to this NCBI Labs Talking Technology podcast clip. For more just like this one, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. There you can also find full podcast episodes. They're also available on your podcast app of choice or on the NCBI Smart Hub.